All right, ready. All right, man. Here today on the podcast, we have a very special person, man. He comes from my hometown in OKC. I worked with him in the past, even in my own credit issues. It was kind of at the inception of what he has going, which I'm going to get more into and tell you. But this guy has been moving across the nation with the words that he's been talking and spreading about the credit game. And I just wanted to say, man, the guy that I have here today is Vance the Credit Doctor. Man, how you doing, boss?
Man, for sure, for sure. I'm good, man. But check this out, man. Thanks for having me, man. You know, we in Dallas, Texas. But every time I come south of the border, you know what I'm saying, up from Oklahoma City, man, I just be like, I don't want to leave, man. I don't want to leave, man. And then you got the state fair, you know what I mean? So a lot of lights over there, a lot of people over there, man. It's a lot of action in Dallas, Texas, yeah. The Dallas Fort Worth area, man, it's pretty. I like it.
Yeah, man. Now you see why I ain't moved back. You know, once you move and get a taste of something different, it's hard to go back. You
Oh yeah.
know, and even now, I do still want to move to Miami, but Dallas is still like a major city. It's still building and coming up, man.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of construction as soon as you hit that I-35.
Oh hell yeah, man.
Really in Oklahoma, here in Texas, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Well, let's get started, man, and talk more about who you are, what you normally do, what part of the credit game got you going, or wherever you want to start with your story.
Yeah. So Vance Dotson from the east side of Oklahoma City. Man, I was I was ignorant just like anybody else with credit. And so I'm in my daddy's room trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I got the books and everything like that. So it started when I was like 18 or 19 years old, just fresh out of high school, 2004. So I was working on drilling rigs. So I drive 3 to 4 hours outside of Oklahoma City to work in the panhandle of Texas. And so I would come back and just deposit my checks into the bank. And my uncle, he was an accountant at this credit union. I still bank there today, you know. And the accounting lady, she took a liking in me, and she was just like, "Man, I see that you just deposit your checks." So just growing up on in in my, I want to say, neighborhood, or how people is taught, is just to save your money. You know what I mean? Put it in a shoebox. So, but that's not the right thing to do. Like, looking back at it, man, I should have just been on it from square one. But I didn't have the teaching like that inside my home. So it was so she brought me to the side, man, and really, to be honest, like how she was talking to me, I see that in everybody. As far as, she was just like, take $2,500 out and put it on a secured credit card. So
She gave you game.
yeah, so I'm 18, 19 years old. I'm still staying with my daddy. You know what I mean? Like, not paying no major bills, just paying my cell phone and just really messing off my money. But I still saved money. And then so she took $2,500 out and put it on a secured credit card. And so, she had to sit me down in that chair and really educate me on my money. I'm like, hold on, what, 2,500? Like, where this going? And then so about a month later, she said, "Okay, cool. Let's pull your credit report." I'm like, "All right, cool." So she was just like, "Look, you got a lot of medical bills." So this is in, like I said, this is in 2005, man.
She gave you up early.
Yeah, it's 2005, 2006. It's way early into my career. I didn't know what was happening, what was going on. Just had a lot of medical bills, right? And so that was my Obamacare, and just not paying. You know what I mean? I wasn't paying. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
Yeah.
So, man, so she had formed some dispute letters for me, and I didn't know, right? So she formed them. I didn't even send them off. Just kept them. I can't, I don't even know where they at today. So then she come back. She like, "Hey, let's see what the results was." And I'm like, I didn't send it out. So, you know, she was like kind of irritated. I was like, oh, it is what it is, you know?
It's crazy to hear this because
Yeah.
I know how you be going off on people about this
Yeah.
today, but keep going.
Like I tell you, I
Yeah.
see what she was seeing in me, what I see in people today. So I know what it is, you know what I mean, firsthand. And then so I come back into the bank and she was just like, look, you know, I'm finna go on lunch and we're gonna redo everything. She sent off the letters. I don't know what they said. I don't know what they said, what it was or nothing. Sent it off, boom. In the meantime, she said, we're going to take another $2,500 and put it on to this secured credit card. And I'm like, man, listen, man, I got $5,000 just sitting right here. I can't even use. So in the meantime of that, I get something back. I remember from Experian and TransUnion, everything that she disputed just got deleted. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I took them papers to her, like, look, is this what you want? I was still naive and young and uneducated on what was going on. And so she pulled my credit report again. It was in the 800s. And I'm like, I still didn't know what this really was. You know what I mean? And so I go purchase a brand new Escalade. I'm talking about it was on the ramp.
Damn.
So yeah, man, I'm talking about they talking about what what you want, and I'm uneducated, bro. I just said, look, I want that.
Ramp.
I just knew I wanted that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they pulled it off, man. They took all the stickers off right then and there, put some gas in it, and this is in 2007 at the time. No, it was 2006 going into 2007, and then it was 2007 Escalade. It was brand new, black, all the bells and whistles, man. It was $72,000 then.
Damn.
I'm looking at them now like, dude, they over like 120, yeah, to 150,000.
70-something back then was 120 today.
Yeah, man. So like I said, I'm from the east side of Oklahoma City, so I'm pulling up in the Escalade, bro. They like, damn, the value of this car is double than these houses. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I didn't understand that back then. And so, like I say, I'm working on drilling rigs, driving back and forth, man. And then so we're up in that 2008, 2009 year. So I'm talking on the phone. I'm driving. I'm in Wheeler, Texas. I'm driving to work. So I was driving at night and I was working in the morning, like at 6 a.m. So this is at night. And then I had talking on the phone, speakerphone, and I had some Long John Silvers. You know what I'm saying? I turned that Long John Silvers up, bro.
I ain't had that in a minute.
Yeah, and I had to I'm steering with my leg. You know what I'm saying? Boom, got hit. I'm in the ditch, bro. Yeah.
And we all done that before, steering with the knees.
Yeah, man. So check it out. So the cameraman right here, if y'all can zoom in on this right here, that's where that scar came from.
Damn.
So you know how people like, I got the scars to show you. Nah, I got the scars. You know what I'm saying? Damn. So boom, yeah, I went through the windshield, man.
Went through the windshield?
Went through the windshield, bro. Damn. Went through the windshield, bro. I'm in the ditch, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm in the hospital, messed up. And I recovered. And then next thing you know, I'm getting the ambulance bill and the hospital bill, and I didn't pay it. I didn't pay it. So here come the phone calls, and here come, the letters and stuff like that, just different ones. And I'm like, damn, So, but again, I was studying this stuff because of what she had done for me. So I'm curious as hell at this point. And so just growing up, you always had people that was a little bit smarter than you. You know what I mean? So this is the time, Nelly was coming up and everybody, it's probably still this era too. Everybody think they're a rapper. You know what I mean? So it was the recording. So, man, I bought me a little $30 recorder from Walmart. And next thing you know, my phone rung. I'm still trying to figure it out. So I just hit record, boom, and put my phone on speaker. And so I just started recording the calls, man.
Damn.
And then I'm using
the calls from the call credit collectors.
Yeah, the debt collector called me. So
okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm recording the call at this point, and I called him up on a violation, and the violation was under the FDCPA for not stating a mini Miranda. And so I'm excited. So I'm like, man, I'm just finna just see. I'm experimenting at this point. So man, I go downtown Oklahoma City, pay my money. It was like $50, $60 at the time. Go pay my money, and I'm thinking, dude, I got the evidence, I got the recording. I'm just, hey, this right here in the bag. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Court date comes. And matter of fact, the company was from Dallas. The company from Dallas.
That you were suing.
yeah. So boom. So they come, and the judge asked me, is this because I'm like, hey, they didn't say the mini Miranda. The FDCPA states this. And the judge looks at me and say, is this a criminal case or a civil case?
You filed the wrong technicality.
Nah. She didn't understand. So she said, I'm dismissing your case. Oh, man, come on, man. That dude looked at me. He had this look on him. All right, bet. So keep in mind, I'm staying with my pops, right? So they go down. I didn't know. I take my L and go out. Mm-hmm. So they go downstairs and they sue me. Well, they served me with the lawsuit the same day.
The Dallas company sued you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pops called me. Hey, this guy just delivered these papers. So I'm like, I don't know what they is, Daddy. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, I come to the house. Boom, they suing me. They suing me for the debt. So I'm like, all right, cool. Boom. So here we go again. So I'm studying this information. So I had to go to that law book, man. And what I found out in Oklahoma, a debt collector can't sue someone in small claims. So in small claims, it's small claims is like you broke my lawnmower, and they bickering back and forth or whatever the case may be. So I drove up a motion to dismiss. So motion practice really ain't in small claims. It's for the people. You know what I mean? And so
what's motion practice like? Actually stating a specific thing that you want to do in court?
So motion practice is like motion for continuance, motions to dismiss, summary judgments, things of that nature.
Okay.
So that's motion practice. It's a lot of legal terms. And so from there, man, I draw me up a motion to dismiss. Same judge. It's the same judge. And it's crazy because looking at it now, it's always been 4 small claim judges, and I just happen to get that same judge. Okay. And so we go up there, and I already served my motion to dismiss, and we go back up in front of the judge, and now they're suing me. So the judge said, "What do you got to say?" He owes money. And she looked at me, and I said, "I got a motion." And she said, "Motion granted."
Whoa.
Yeah. So now
crazy.
I'm like, man. So I'm like, in the FDCPA, it's a violation if a debt collector does something and they can't legally do it. So
oh shit. So basically that was a violation just taking you to court.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
Wow.
So what I had to do is, man, then this is the journey that started in federal court. And I promise you. So I'm in my head more than anything, just like everybody else. So I had to really distinguish the first case. So the first case is, you remember I'm telling you, they was like, is this criminal or is this civil? The judge didn't know. So I had to distinguish this, meaning they was throwing terms around like res judicata. So res judicata is if a case has been presented in front of a court and it's been ruled on the merits. Keep in mind, it wasn't ruled on the merits because she thought it was a criminal thing. It's a civil thing. You see what I'm saying? So I had to plead around that and tell the federal courts, like, hey, nah, this ain't res judicata. She didn't even rule on the merits. You know what I mean? So then, in the same case, I had to plead out. When they sued me in small claims, they couldn't sue me in small claims. They had to go to a higher level court to sue me over this debt. And so, man, we did that.
Not to stop you. So is that basically saying like these companies are possibly utilizing the small claims court to scare people into paying debts, knowing they're not gonna bring a motion, in order to try to get granted a judgment instead of going through the means because it's more expensive or something?
Different states, different rules.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But here in Texas, man, they got JP Court, which is equivalent to small claims court. So it's moves that, consumers can do once they get that lawsuit to get out of that, to get out of that. But so yeah, man, I went to court. You know what I'm saying? I went to court, and the judge, I had my folder, had my recorder, and I just laid out all the paperwork. And the judge, at the time, I think he had back surgery because he had on a brace, and then he had like a special chair that he was in, and then he laid back, and then he read off some, like when you represent yourself pro se, it's a paragraph that they got to read. He, it's talking about the pitfalls and all this other stuff and the tricks that they do and all this other stuff. You want to get a lawyer. And I'm like, hold on. Are you finna make a ruling based off of law, facts, and evidence? He said, yes, sir. Well, let's go. I'm ready. He said, hey, counsel. He was talking to the lawyer. He said, counsel, I think you need to go out there in the hallway and come up with a settlement with this young man. So boom, we went outside, and I hit for $3,500. Yeah, man, trust me, man, that shit was better than sex, bro. And I just kept doing it. That right there, man, is what set it off.
That's
right
crazy, because that was going to be one of my questions. Was like the first time that you actually sued or whatever and actually won and got a check. How did that feel? What did that go through? What went through your head? Like, this shit work?
Man, like I said, man, that shit was like sex, bro. Shit was like sex, bro. And still to this day, man, everybody that I walked through that process, bro, they got that same feeling. They got that same feeling, I promise you.
I bet, because it's something, I say it's new, but I don't want to say it's new. It's just not known. I don't know how long it's been around, the FDCPA.
Yeah. Since Jimmy Carter was the president who put it on the books.
Okay.
So Jimmy Carter, I think he's on
70s, 80s.
He old, man.
Oh yeah, he is.
He's old. Well, he's he's you know what I'm saying. He's aging.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But it was a big deal, man. I think his birthday was here recently, and they, was talking about him.
I did hear about him.
But yeah, man. So Jimmy Carter put it on the book. So I think the 70s. The 70s.
Do you know if like what was the reasoning for them even coming up with it? Like, was there like a hell of a lot of repos or credit, like shit going on?
So man, it might. Super cool ass question, bro. Seriously, because you got to understand that. The reason why they drafted that body of law is in the FDCPA within itself. It's because of the economy. You know what I'm saying? It's because of the economy, because of the abuse, and because of privacy, and to give protection to the people. So you got to understand, man, like these companies, okay, cool, they companies, but what thrives is the consumer. Just think about McDonald's having a business, nobody buying their burgers. It just ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So they put that on the books to give protection to the consumers, which is people.
All right, man. So we're back. We're back, man. We were just speaking about how Jimmy Carter kind of instituted the FDCPA and the reasons for why the FDCPA was implemented. And I mean, this man is knowledgeable. If there's a source, he's the source. You know what I'm saying? But he just gave me that information, man. And we'll kind of let you continue your story, man. You were talking about, your first time you went ahead and went through and got $3,500 from them.
Yeah.
And kind of where you take it from there?
From there, man, I'm just, hitting the streets, trying to show and tell everybody that, hey, this is what you can do. And so from there, man, I got deeper into it, like laser focused on it, right? So I had to, I don't want to say dumb it down, but I had to be like, all right, cool, this is what's called credit repair. So I had to just bring it down to so people can understand it. So the next step was just repeating what I was doing to continue the success. So say for an example, man, I'm in Oklahoma City just trying to really stop anybody who would listen to me that would just show me their credit report. So what I did was I would, say for an example, go up to you and be like, hey, you got something on your credit report? And they'll be like, yeah. And then I would get you to make the phone call or make a phone call, or phone calls or whatever the case may be with the debt collector. And then I would capture the violation. And then I'll come back to you and say, hey, do you want to pursue this? And just like still today, a lot of people just be like, look, I don't got the money, but I need this information off my report. And I was just like, all right, cool. I turned it into a business. And so what I made was something called the assignment of claim. And so where I was literally giving people money for their claim, for their debt, and then I would take it to federal court and litigate it out. And so I was super successful with that for like 10 years. And then, so now a lot of companies and a lot of people caught wind of it. And so they challenged me on it. So I think it ain't no think. If you break it down, I think it's not right. It's not legal. So you got to understand, like, the FDCPA. So the FDCPA gives protection to contractual consumer debt. So here in Dallas, you got tolls everywhere. So if you run a toll, then you get that bill or that paper in the mail or a text message or email, whatever. The FDCPA doesn't govern that because it's not a contract.
That's more, okay.
So again, with taxes, like if you owe taxes, the FDCPA doesn't govern that. There's no contract. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm doing this with people who got consumer contractual based debt. So the courts come back and say, yeah, Vance. Now keep in mind, man, I'm talking to my homeboys and I'm like, dude, it's still true today. You can make out your income on what you want to do. So say for an example, like I'm really talking to my homeboys and I'm like, I'm finna make $50,000 this week. Literally, I was documenting it, putting it on Instagram. So I don't want to say it got hot, but the defense attorneys come up and just say like, look, they gave me a motion to dismiss on standing because I was the person suing, but I'm not the person that got injured. So
okay, I got you.
So yeah, so they said the assignment of claim route, it wasn't.
They try to take that away from you.
Yeah. But this is the thing. So if you look at it, we're gonna just use Midland. If you look at Midland's model, when they sue you, they suing you because you didn't pay the alleged contractual obligation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when they sue you, they suing you in Midland Credit Management's name, and I'm like, what's the hell is the difference? So that's why I'm like, I'm I mean they one up me,
Yeah.
So but this
I
is
see
the
what
thing.
you're saying. What's the difference if you're working on behalf of the client? What's the difference between you and them working on behalf of the
Citibank.
original? Yeah, okay.
Same thing. You see what I'm saying?
Thing, yeah.
The same
And they trying
thing.
to argue. Wait a minute, he can't do that.
Yeah,
That's what you
it's
do.
the same thing, man. It's the same thing. Oh yeah, so same thing. So instantly, man, I'm always on the drawing board. So I had to come back. We talking about money. You know what I'm saying? So when your money get funny, you gonna have to, bring something out the hat. But it didn't slow anything down. You know what I'm saying? I got a network that we in, and we just instantly picked up right there, and really it really sharpened my skill at that point. Because you gotta, I'm gonna just keep it real 100 with you, man. Like, I'm black. And a lot of people, I don't talk professional, and so I'm black, so you're gonna hear a lot of Ebonic stuff. And so I took that and just took it to another level as far as not trying to say, yo, homie, I wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
But just in general, I just took that and made money with it. So people that looks like me and sound like me will call a debt collector and say, for an example, if they had a past due credit card with a debt collector, and we'll just be like, hey, I got some questions and concerns about this account. Nah, but the thing is, like I was saying, I'm black, not to try to pull a race card or nothing, but 9 times out of 10 when you're dealing with these companies, it's black. Somebody that's going to answer the phone is white. Somebody that probably that owns that company is white. So you just always have that a lot within this debt collection industry. So you got to understand, like, a lot of people that's in that need this type of help or service is unarticulate to a certain degree. So they really don't understand. Now, they can be the man that painting a car, but when it comes to this specific stuff, they're just uneducated. So what I did was I just took that, I don't like to educate people. I just like to leave it like polish what it is. And then I just let them say what it is to the debt collector. So say, for example, credit card defaults is at an all-time high. So I just keep it 100. Say, what was the limit, right? And what's the balance? So you just had the person record a call and call the debt collector and be like, look, I thought that, my limit was $300. How did the balance get to 500, And then just be like, oh, that seems a little bit high. You know what I'm saying? So something that simple, that's a dispute. So say, for an example, you got to understand, man, you got to understand both sides, right? So I just told you the consumer side, the consumer, uneducated side. And really that's how the FDCPA lines out a consumer is the least sophisticated. So you got that. Then you got the other side, which is the debt collector. The debt collector is going to be like, I'm getting paid X amount of dollars. I got to collect X amount of dollars to get a bonus. I got all this personal stuff going on. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. They like, dude, look, this person right here ain't trying to pay no money, man. Like, let me get off the phone. But guess what? That phone call is going to bite you. Because this is the thing. So under the FDCPA, just like I said, that's a dispute. But then once they report again, they have to mark it as disputed. But it's not your typical dispute. So I did that for 12 years plus, bro.
You really beating them at that game, getting real technical with it.
No, it's not technical.
Is it?
It's not
Is that what
technical.
it
It's
is?
not technical at all. It's no. It's far from technical. It's the law.
I feel you on that. Yeah.
So you got the
knowing
law.
what it is.
Yeah.
And I feel
Have you heard of a guy named LeBron James?
Of course.
How effective of a player would he be if he didn't understand the rules of the game?
He would be messing up every other play, probably.
That's the average consumer.
That makes sense. Damn, that's the analogy for your ass right
Yeah,
there,
man. Yeah, man. Because
He just keep traveling up and down the court. He'll never be good.
he can't make no successful move. And that's the consumer. That's the consumer. So
And they have all the rules because these companies do know the law, or they hire somebody to know the law.
yeah,
Some
well,
of them.
how the law codes it is they knew or should have known. Yeah. So you gotta understand. So say for an example, I don't want to say ran it into the ground, but I was very successful at it around the country. So people call me, and I'll just say, "Hey, man, polish them up," and then they'll do whatever they do. Then here comes the lawsuit. So, the defense industry, they ganged up and they just started fighting everything that I did. So I was just like, okay, cool. So then and now we got appeals cases that's pending as of now on that issue. And so it never was about the case. It never was about the case in the court. It was about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was about me. So I personally, I didn't. I put it on ice in my personal arsenal. I put that move on ice, right? So I just laid down on it, and then it was a guy in Philadelphia hit me up. He was like, "Bro, like, you got a minute?" Like, man, I ain't got no secretary. Listen, man, you get an email response from me, it's me. You know what I'm saying? You call my phone, it's me. So dude hit me up like, man, I made like 15 grand off of doing what you said. I was like, okay, cool. Like, damn, what's your name? Where you from? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so when he hit me up, he was in a little bit of trouble. So they was fighting his position. They was fighting him on what I just told you. Like, oh, this balance don't seem right, da-da-da. So they was fighting him on that. And so I helped him out. And so this is how I knew that it was the judges / the courts in Oklahoma. Same response to the motions, different result. But in Pennsylvania, you see what I'm saying? I'm laying it out just as well as I laid it out in Oklahoma, Texas, whatever. So different decision. You see what I'm saying? So I knew from that, if everything was supposed to be the same, how come we got this different decision? So yeah, that's how I knew. So I put that on ice for a little bit. So I had to go back to the drawing board. Then, so in the FDCPA, you have something called CA1, right? So that's the body of the law. So CA1, and it has to do with communication and contacting the consumer. So when it's normally said on the internet, hey, the debt collector can't contact you from this time to this time, that's how it's normally said. So I had to go back to the drawing board. So what I was doing was I would write a letter to the debt collector like, look, the only convenient way to contact me is email only. And I would leave the email, but they would never email the consumer. They'd just send the papers in the mail. Soon as I see the papers in the mail, I'm suing. So I had that for a little minute, But it's a lot of people who try to mimic what I do, but they don't understand how to litigate it. Man, as of now, I had to just throw that to the fire because it's a lot of people who tried to do it, but they could not be successful. So they seeing me successful with it, but they couldn't pull it off. And so it's a lot of bad case law on that, you know. Yeah, okay. So I had to go back to the drawing board. You see what I'm saying? And every time, man, I had to go back to the drawing board, bro, it's been a hell of a fucking blessing, bro. Like I just, now thinking about it, I just see my income just going up every time, just going up.
After you go through that adversity.
Oh yeah, every time, bro.
Head to the next
every
level.
every time, bro. So say for an example, man, in the FDCPA. So let me give you a ground level understanding of the FDCPA. One is for the least sophisticated consumer. It is what it is, right? So, and it's a strict liability. That means you step on my shoe, I can do whatever to you, right? You don't get that second chance to be like, don't step on my shoe again. It's just boom, I can do whatever.
Oh, once you violate, it's hey.
Oh, you done.
I'm going. Okay.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done. So I had to go back to the drawing board. So I came in section C of the FDCPA is talking about refusing to pay the debt or ceasing communication. So a lot of people, if you took that law and you gave it to the average person, they gonna do it like a 16-year-old at McDonald's. They gonna say cease and desist. So say for an example, if you take that same 16-year-old man working at McDonald's, they gonna understand and know what that means. So you not gonna get the debt collector to violating the law. So what I did was I analyzed the law and I was just like, okay, cool. At the front of it is, the consumer refusing to pay. So that's what I did. So say for an example, when I'm testing something, I don't test it once, 3, 10 times. I just got something in my head that I'll be like, look, I'm gonna test it 100 times. 100 times, right? So I might type it out on a Monday. I might write the same thing on a Tuesday, handwrite. You know what I'm saying? So I might change up the font on a Wednesday. But I'm gonna do something 100 times, bro. And I won't even say it worked, don't work, into that. But understand, if something is written up for the least sophisticated consumer, it doesn't have to really state what that law is. It just has to be in that area of what that should be. So say for example, like I always turn back to black. Just me being black, right? Mm-hmm. So say for example, if people go right now that's looking at this podcast, if they go back to like Google and it was a guy in Louisiana, a younger guy, that said, I need a lawyer, dog. So anytime you say, I need a lawyer, they got to stop talking to you. So that went all the way up in the Louisiana Supreme Court. So look how he talks. I need a lawyer, dog. If you keep talking to me, you might be in jeopardy of throwing this case out. You see what I'm saying?
You might be violated.
So I tell people, man, I'm from the east side of Oklahoma City, but they don't understand what I'm saying. Is, dude, I'm really like you. I come from the hood like you. I ain't got all that lawyer degree, college education, man. I ain't got none of that. I just say, okay, cool, look, really, you got me fucked up, and I'm finna think my way out of this shit. Yeah. That's really it. That's really it. And that's all it is. So, I got, I have a thing that, okay, we're gonna say 100,000. I just want to make $100,000 a month, and then I'm just going to reverse engineer it. And so I just reverse engineer it, and I, hit that goal every time. And how I hit the goal is, it's a lot of people. It's just a lot of people. So when you go back and do research and say, look, okay, who got bad credit?
Everybody, not everybody, but a lot.
The minorities.
Yeah, well, for sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we heavy on the list.
So here it is. Like, I just go back to where I was day one. It goes back to that secured credit card. So literally, man, I'm bumping my head against the wall with trying to tell people how to increase their FICO score, because they come up to me and they want to increase their FICO score. And so it's like, this is because I'm licensed and bonded in Oklahoma to do this. So I don't want to give somebody messed up information and they come back and, black people be like, hey, you told me to go over here. So now you got a problem because you refer somebody to some janky stuff. So it's just like, okay, cool, look, I wrote a book, Securing a Higher FICO Score. That's the title of the book. And it's all based off of obtaining a secured credit card. That's the first thing that a person should do if they have a low FICO score or they don't have a credit card at all, is to go to a local credit union and ask a few questions on how often they can increase it and how much you can increase it up to, and just keep dumping money into it. That has never failed me, period, not one time. And so, man, I give the book out literally for free.
Free game.
Yeah, man, because this is the thing. Keep in mind 100. Keep in mind just everything at 100, right? So if I get that book out to 100 people, man, 3 might use it. In this free information. Damn. So yeah, I give it out for free, man, and see who uses it, see who don't. So now you can't say, well, this don't work. You don't use it. You know what I'm saying? So, and what it is, man, once I'm laying down in the bed, man, looking in the ceiling, man, it's all science, bro. It's all science. You know what I mean? So, and I look at it and I'm like, oh my God. But I look at it like, damn, you got somebody that's literally homeless because you didn't put this eviction onto their credit report. You know what I'm saying? And so I look, it's the both sides of, just the both sides of it. You know what I'm saying? And so, but yeah, man, people got, rights under the FDCPA. And then it's I don't know if you know him, but Alan Jones?
Alan Jones.
Yeah, he's from Oklahoma City.
Oh, Bruno. I went to school with him.
Really?
Yeah,
Alan?
Yeah. He went to high school with me, and I went to a couple of things he's done out here a long time ago when I first moved out here.
Yeah,
but yeah, Alan Jones. Yeah,
Alan. So he's from Oklahoma City. So he had an encounter with a debt collector. So you can go Google this. Just type in Alan Jones and then debt collector. You'll see it, man. I was a part of that. And that was $1.5 million.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Talking about the claim or
Yeah. We went to trial. Because it all boils down to respect, man. So $1.5 million was a jury verdict, and so they caught.
Where you at, Alan? Man, I need to borrow something. Keep going.
Hey, he pulled up on me last week. He came to the office last week.
Damn, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, man. So, I got a lot of cases, man, that, from zero.
I mean, I remember the infamous, because a lot of people, like, he's gone through his story, and his story is so vast that he can only give you a taste of it. But for those who have followed his social media, and if you don't, you need to look him up on social media. he used to go through and be the most transparent person out there, going live. I mean, there was so many white dudes chasing this dude down, and these white dudes in suits. You know what I'm saying? And you just see this nigga from the east side going in on him. You know what I'm saying? On some real law. You know, and he would end up winning his cases. He would end up winning situations in between them. I remember them sending you letters or something because they didn't want you to post stuff on the internet because they don't want people to know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? They like, oh, somebody done figured it out, and niggas will start catching on. You know what I'm saying? And that'll start hurting pockets.
Man, I you say that. I really don't feel that people is catching on,
which is crazy. And I feel like the lawyers probably felt like, or those companies probably felt like it was gonna happen, but it ain't caught on like it probably should have. Not probably, like it should have.
Yeah, man. Because, and I think that's a big duty that I put on my shoulders, man. It's just education, bro. It's education. Like, so say for an example, man, you got the industry of the buy here, pay here industry, right? So, that's subprime lending, and a lot of minority people, they fall into that trap of subprime lending. And so now you got, high interest rates on the car, and man, you paying so much interest, bro, that you can just be putting that little bit of interest, investing it back into yourself. If you just came and just got a little bit of game, right? Just about the secured credit card, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's super important. Like, and I'm like, bro, they could have just get a little bit of information. I mean, dude, it's so powerful, that secured credit card, man. You can, temporarily put, a lot of people don't want to invest in themselves, and I get it. That's the downfall. But temporarily, go put 500 and see. Go put 1,000 and see. You know what I mean? So, I like to.
That's big.
Yeah, I like to, I like to tell people, like, look, I can work with you. How does 100 points sound to you? And then they be like, man, that'd be good. I can do, I can make moves. And so I like to just tell people, look, all right, cool. Let's work together until you get 100 points. You know what I'm saying? Or more. But man, I'm, if you in the 500s, I'm able to give you information and work with you, sue some people, get you in the 700s. So that's 200 points. You see what I'm saying? So once you understand that algorithm or how that stuff works, man, it unlocks a lot of things. But people need to invest in themselves. I'm Vance Dotson. You can find me at www.vancedotson.com. That's the official wait list. Or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok, or any other social media platform at Vance Dotson. That's it.
And then you had the Experian case.
Oh yeah, I had an Experian case personally. That started in 2019, and so I clocked 300,000 from that. And the whole thing is, it's crazy that you said that. I was documenting the whole thing on social media the whole time.
I remember watching a lot of those. I mean, not to call them all, but I caught quite a bit. Even in some of the depositions. I think when you had the camera in there on the deposition, you were like, man, I'm getting this in here.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, man, and that's why I used to tell people all the time about you, and I used to be like, look, if you don't believe the man, I understand that the credit repair game is full of scammers, some of them.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't believe him, just go to his page and go through the videos. He's hella transparent, the most transparent person in business in the game that I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So 2000, I would say, I bumped into a guy named Marvin Smith and Gloria Smith, a couple. And, they paid me to come out and mentor them. And he introduced me to this marketing world where I was just young, wild, and just on it. So he was just like, all right, cool. Let's do it like this, right? Marketing. So here we go. It was like what a funnel is, right? So I'm like, man, I don't know about no funnel, man. I'm making money with this website. You know, so he pulls out the laptop and he's like, "All right, so how much money you making?" I log in. I log into my account from his computer, and you know, at the time it was over $1 million some bucks, right? And so he was just like, "Man, you should do that on this platform." It was ClickFunnels, and I was just like, you know. So I had to learn a whole different style of marketing. You know what I'm saying? And just to get somebody's information, I'm like, man, I ain't really with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, hey, you gonna do business or leave me alone, and let me do my thing. You know. But it took a twist to where I started helping other credit repair companies. You know what I'm saying? I got success with that to where the individuals was coming under me, learning from me,
That's cool.
and I mean, I can just think of multiple people over 10 that just come under me and just making a great living for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot going on behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? That I I don't want to say pioneer, but the people who know, you know, they know what's going on. So say for an example, man, it's a guy. He really don't. He only got 2 posts on Instagram. One of them is an ad. That dude in 1 month he spent $2,000 on ads, and he made $150,000 in settlements in 1 month. All you literally got to do is have that right information, man. Right information, and knowing how to go hit that courthouse. That's it. That's it.
And would you say the courthouse? Because at this point, I'm realizing from what you say that the courthouse is only so many of them in each city, in each state. So they're used to seeing your faces. Are they really now more pro you all? Like, hey, y'all better come correct because he comes correct. Or how's the climate of the courthouse now that you all have been going in there?
Well, um, in I'm gonna say Eastern District of Texas. Company tried to like throw dirt on my name one time, and the judge was just like, Vance Dotson, consumer advocate. He just left it at that. And so I was just like, damn, kudos. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Wow.
Dallas in North Texas, I haven't had any judges comment on me, but in Oklahoma, I did get pissed off at a lawyer one time, and I cussed him out. So we was on deposition, and I'm like, they setting up, and they like, well, we're ready, and I'm like, you ready to record? And she was like, yeah. And I just looked at him and I just started cussing him out. You was a bitch. I just went off. And so that incident, they fined me $5,000.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
man. So that's the first and only time I did that. But yeah, man, I had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. Just being a pioneer. I got a good friend that I talked to. Man, I mean, dude, I didn't touch so many people's lives. It's crazy. Like, so say for an example, man, I'm at the office and I'm like, frustrated because I got so much work, and I'm like, man, I need a lawyer to kind of dump this off to. You know what I'm saying? So I bumped into a guy, Mr. Wilson. At the time, he's staying in Houston, so I went to Houston. No, how it first happened is he hit me up. No, Drew was one of my employees. He went to Langston, Oklahoma, and he's a Kappa. And then I was like, I need a lawyer, so he reached out to his network that was a Kappa, and then Mr. Wilson responded, and then so I'm telling him what I do, and he was just like, all right, cool, I'll get back with you. And how I knew it was a whole year before he got back to me, because it was my birthday. I was in Las Vegas, and then I happened to be out of town celebrating my birthday again, and then that's when he contacted me again. So really a whole year later, So I went to Houston and, chopped it up with him. And he was just like, man, I don't like Houston. You know what I'm saying? I want to move. And so we jumped off the porch with like 10 cases. The first time, 10 cases. And so all of them was successful. And he was just like, damn, let's do it again. Let's do it again.
I bet.
And so he took his family from Houston, Texas to Atlanta, Georgia. Right? So, man, and it was crazy. When I was in Houston, my phone rings, and I'm like, okay. I just think it's just a regular call. So it was a guy who was in the military, and they was jacking his mortgage payments around. So it was a genuine case. Hands it over to Jeff. Jeff hits for over $600,000. Then that's when he made that move. So let's talk. We got to speed it up. Like I'll say 8 years or something. Now he has a son and a daughter, and so I get a book in the mail in my office. So I'm reading the book, and I'm mentioning the book. Man, it blew me back, bro. Yeah. It was Harper Teachers Contracts, and it's on Amazon, stuff like that. So, yeah, man. So I'm mentioning the book. You know what I mean? So
that's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. Yeah, man. Like that they would take the time, and they know a lot of people. And then, so when he got married, I went out there to Atlanta to, see him get married. Now you gotta understand, he grew up with a lot of friends. He went to college. He went to law school. You know what I'm saying? And he took the time, only did it one time. And he said, Vance Dotson, stand up. I stood up. And he was just like, man, look, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for him. You know what I'm saying? So that has really, it just touched me a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Money can touch you one way, but your impact in the world really makes you feel a whole nother way.
So he recently, this is probably a month ago, he went to St. Lucia. And so he invite, me and my family to come. And every time, I've seen his mother 3 times. Every single time I see his mom, she just runs up to me, give me a hug, and just like, look, I'm so proud of you for teaching my son. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And Jeff just took the game and ran with it like how you supposed to do. Like long as you taking the information, really genuinely helping somebody, man, I had no problem with that. Yeah. Like, and I can just go down the line, man. Everybody, it's a lot of people, man, that I didn't touch. That's lawyers, that's not lawyers. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta have that drive, that passion to really help a person and understand the process that the people is going through and really help them to get out of that situation.
So with all of that, what do you think you can do that's gonna change the Dallas market? Or what are your goals for the Dallas market?
Oh man, you talk about Dallas is like 6 to 7 million people, which is a good market. Talking about the state of Oklahoma is like 4 million.
Damn, I was just about to say Oklahoma City ain't, but like probably 1 or 2 million, if that.
It's like 600.
600 for real? That's it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot of people.
It's I think it's 4, man. It's 400. It ain't much.
Wow.
It ain't much. So yeah, man, looking back on that, looking back on it, you know what I'm saying, compared to, and it's crazy, it's only like 200-mile difference. So like looking back on it from Oklahoma City, I think that's like jumping in a puddle, right? So I think I've jumped in that puddle and made a big old splash. But coming down to Dallas, if I jump in this ocean, I'm gonna need a vest. You know what I'm saying? But the end goal is to help people, and I know I can help a lot of people here, man.
And and when you say that too, the black population is one of your target markets in some cases.
And it's crazy. I really don't. I really don't target just black people.
Well, yeah, you know, it ain't.
You know what I'm saying? It just happened to be only black people come to me.
And to be honest, it's like 30% black here in Dallas. You know, out of that 4-something million people compared to Oklahoma City, I think the percentage of black people is way low.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a huge market just in the black people here, but on top of it, it's just people in general here. I mean, I can see you cleaning up. You know what I mean? Down here, definitely. I mean, you'll have more work than you'll.
It's not cleaning up, man. It's just an impact.
Helping
people.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah. And I do like how you,
because a lot of things, like I say, like helping people out ain't got no money. But a lot of the times, man. Now, don't get me wrong, man. Litigation is expensive, man. Mm-hmm. So if I see that initial, this person is trying, and then I'm gonna kick in. So, say for an example, man, when I had that $300,000 victory with Experian. Okay, let's talk about everything that happened up to that process. It costs $400 to sue. Right, you got to serve them, which $100. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand that I had to do depositions. I was looking at $2,500 a deposition. It's $5,000. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you got to understand that even though I might say I know the game, but you got to take your damages, right? Because my damages was, say, for example, they hurt my FICO score, or economical harm, causing me to pay more for when I'm trying to buy purchase a car, purchase a house, right? Or, a higher credit card rates. That's intangible harm. So you got to quantify that for the courts, because okay, somebody gets into a car wreck. Oh, man, you owe me $1 million. Somebody sue. Oh, you owe me $1 million. You see what I'm saying? So you got to quantify that. You got to make that real.
That makes sense.
Guess how much that cost me? $10,000.
Just to gather the info to make sure to get that.
They're gonna make it real. An expert witness costs $10,000 in that type of case. So if you're doing the math, I already got $15,000 to $25,000 in that case. Now, you talk about you want to do 10 cases. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So you got a lot of money. So on the line, so I do have a lot of litigation going on around the United States. So the whole thing is, people talk about, yes, a lot of money, man, but don't look at the money, but I understand where people is going with it. But you got to understand, like, an average deposition is costing me $1,500, $2,500. So if I'm helping a lot of people around the United States and they don't even know where to go, what to do, that's $2,500 that's coming out of my pocket, or $2,500 got to be spent somewhere. So say, for an example, dealing with the debt collector, man, you have to prove everything that even though you got the initial evidence, but you still have to prove what's going on. So so a lot of the times the FDCPA protects somebody's privacy. So we're dealing with, say for an example, invasion of privacy, or what's called intrusion upon seclusion. So again, that's intangible. It's a harm, but it's intangible. So how do we quantify that? So here we go again, I'm spending money. So say for an example, you got a complaint, a lawsuit, is an allegation. So now you got to solidify this. You got to prove this, right? So now you got to go on record. How do you do that? Depositions. You see what I'm saying? So if I got, 10 cases or 100 cases, 75 cases going on around the country,
And you
That's
got
a
out
lot.
there.
Oh yeah,
waiting to
sitting,
eventually maybe recruit.
sitting,
Not maybe. He's good. He's gonna recruit.
sitting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I gotta be
Wow.
very cautious. You know what I'm saying, on what I take on and what I do, how I move. You see what I'm saying? So now, just by talking to you, I see. I hope you see where that $100,000. You see what I'm saying is
Yeah.
generating. So it's very strategic, and but you know it's the people believing in me. You know, I do what I say I'm gonna do. You know what I mean, and I just keep doing it, no matter what it is.
Yeah, I mean, this has been mind blowing because I've talked to you many times in the past, of course, and you gamed me up for sure because you definitely told me about the secure credit card and different things, and when you were
Man, we can
suing.
dive into that. We can dive into that. So the thing about it is, when people obtain a secure credit card, they get it for like $300, $500. But the thing is, like, don't stop there. You need to increase it, increase that limit. So when you increase the limit, we're just gonna say from 500 to 1,000. When you increase it, you increase the your high credit limit. So it goes from 500 to 1,000. When that happens, you decrease your debt to credit ratio. When you decrease your debt to credit ratio, you increase your FICO score. And so once you do all of that, then future credit card offers will come to you. So that's how, you know, somebody is able to secure a higher FICO score. You know what I'm saying? Just like the book. And, you know, I just had to explain it to people. Man, I mean, writing that book, it was, I mean, man, I'm sitting down and I'm writing a book, bro. Keep in mind, I don't have no education background. No, man, I had to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I had to figure it out. And I did it, man. And it's crazy because, like I say, man.
And you talking about like an actual real physical?
Oh,
or
it's a
ebook?
book, bro. It's not no ebook, bro.
No, real physical.
This is a
You
real
done got
physical.
the
I
real
hit you in the
thing.
head with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a real
Wow,
physical book.
okay.
It's a real physical book. And the reason why I like giving it out in book form is because it just goes back to how people think. You want to hide something from a black person?
Put it in the book.
Put it in a book.
Say.
Yeah. So I want to,
Yeah.
I want people to read. So that was the meaning behind that. And like I say, man, it has never failed me. Not one time. Not one time, man. So it's the for sure way. But you gotta keep doing it. It's just like exercising. You know what I mean? It's just not one time gonna happen. And you gotta keep increasing it. So people think, when I tell people to always increase it and never use it, man, they look at me like, dude, you got shit on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the myth is you gotta use it and then pay it off.
70% or whatever.
30%, man.
Yeah.
That kills me, man. When people say that, it kills me. Because it's totally uneducated. It has no scientific reasoning behind it. Period. Because, say for an example, once you use it, we gotta break down two words: credit and debt. Right? So say for an example, we got a $500 limit. When you swipe it, you got debt, right? That's not credit. But when you got a $500 limit and I give you $500 more, my credit line just went from 500 to 1,000. That's credit. You see what I'm saying? When you go to 7-Eleven and use it, that's debt.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now listen to the question. I need you to help me. I want to increase my credit score. They never did come to me talking about teach me how to use credit. They talk about build my credit.
You want me to build your credit while you want to add 70% of debt on that car,
Yeah, man,
or
it's
whatever
crazy,
it
man.
is.
That's crazy.
I get what you're saying now. It's completely counterintuitive
Yeah.
to what the actual definition of credit is.
Yeah.
And why would they give you points for using the shit?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
Because,
think about that.
well, you got to understand, man, the language is Latin. So credit just means I believe in Latin. And so you got to understand creditor just means I believe in you. So we're, in the trust system.
Technology right now, okay.
Yeah, because like I say, man, it goes real. I don't want to say deep, but
That's
you know,
credit. I didn't know it meant that.
yeah, man.
That's deep. No, that is deep.
Look it up in Latin. Credit just means I believe. Creditor means I believe in you. So think about it. They believe in you to pay them back. You see what I'm saying? So that's how that whole system works. So once you, like I say, man, when I'm looking up at the sky, man, it's just an amazing thing. But a lot of people don't use the tools, and a lot of people misabuse the system.
Yeah, I remember a lot of times back in the day you would be posting because people were
and you got to understand, we're social media friends, right?
yeah.
And I give out this information for free.
Damn near every
yeah.
every day, if not every
yeah.
week, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like back in the day, there would be people that, would say, "Oh, such and such didn't work in the beginning," and it was just like you let them know, hey, you got to follow the steps. Some of us got to be honest with ourselves. I had to be honest with myself sometimes when I was going through the process. Nigga, you didn't get that car like you said you was gonna get that car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so when the people come to me, the first thing I ask them is, "What is your score?" I know when I hear 600 and below that I'm going to ask you, do you have any active credit cards? So if you have active credit cards and your score is below 600, they're maxed out. So if you have a below 600 FICO score and you don't have any active credit cards, that's the problem. So I try to embed that within the first 5 minutes, 3 minutes of talking to anybody. That's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. We're going to talk about what's on your credit report, repossessions, evictions, medical bills in due time. But what you need to do is either pay off them credit cards, off, not down, off, off. It's off. Yeah, ain't no off. You know what I'm saying? And or go build credit with that secure credit card, period.
And that's so important because, like, I remember back in the day, and you still get people probably say it today, man, they say my credit score is too low, but they won't give me no credit.
Yeah.
And that's why you got to get the secure credit.
So this is the thing. So, and looking back at it, man, this is why I give out that book for free, right? So if you're coming to me and you're having issues with a FICO score, I know you didn't read the book. I literally, man, put it all in the book, literally. So, like I say, it's science. So, if we was, because when I was little, man, my grandpa will get up at like 4 a.m. and he'd go get some worms. So he'll take a little hook. He'll take multiple fishing poles, but he'll get the worms. He'll take the little hook, and he'll go give it to me, and I would catch a little fish with that little hook, and I'm like, I'm thrilled. I get the fish, he'll bring it back to the bank, he'll cut it up, and I'm like, Grandpa, why you put that fish on the hook? And he'll throw it out there, but then he'll get a bigger fish, and then he'll just repeat the process, and at the end of the day, it'll be a big old catfish. So, have you ever heard that term, big fish eat little fish?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing in the lending institution. Same thing. That secure credit card is like that little worm. But look at the process. Little fish, slice it up, bigger fish. You see what I'm saying? So if you use that same analogy, man, like it's gonna be way more beneficial to the consumer once they just do the process. So the thing is, like, I get it. You're not investing into yourself. And to be honest with you, a lot of people in the black community, they they have a horrible relationship with money. They have a horrible relationship with money. They don't understand money. And so, say for an example, as you know, I went over multiple, ways of my investments. So I use money essentially like a tool, like a hammer. You know what I mean? So you got to use it as a tool. A lot of people don't understand that. Like, okay, cool. The Jordans come out tomorrow. I understand that. You know what I mean? You gonna go look fly. Okay, cool. What you gonna get off of that? A baby? What you gonna get off of that? Some people hating on you. Where you gonna get off of that? You know what I mean? So, but I take, my money and I invest it in cases and it comes back. And so that's what I do.
Man, that's amazing. You've pretty much started from getting the
nothing.
game early from a family member and still not even really grasping it to like, let me figure this out, how it hit you personally to where you used it personally, and then it's like, I'm getting this. To really reading the law, navigating, and now becoming an expert pretty much. I'd say, not pretty much. And you got to be an expert in the law for somebody to write you in a book, for you to change so many people's lives. And for you've been a humble ass nigga the whole time. I ain't gonna lie. Like, every time I've known you, even way back then, it was never really always about the money for you. You know what I'm saying? It was always about, man, one, I got a passion for this, and two, I got a passion for the people. And to hear that a judge will label you, man, look, that's a consumer advocate. That says you a superhero for the people, humbly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he gets it. And in a sense, judges should be out there for the people, and I'm glad that they see that. And that's why I had asked that question. I'm like, what kind of climate, you know what I'm saying, is it in there when you go in there these days? Are they more friendly? And I'm glad to know that at least some of them are more friendly. Now, I'm sure you're going to encounter more, and you're going to have to deal with other people in different cities and states. But, the story in its entirety, I think, is one of the most amazing things, man. Coming from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not a whole lot out there. It's not a lot for us, but it's enough. It's enough for us we have a big heritage. I don't know about your family. My family's been there forever. Old black owned towns, they was in those, and I felt like Oklahoma kind of sharpened my skills within the things that I do too. But at the same time, I still would shit on it, because I'm like, man, it's a shit, small state, this and that and the third. But it's like with your credit thing, it's almost like it gave you the chance in a smaller pool to test out everything you wanted before you hit the national stage, and then you had the ability to do so with the internet without having to make as many runs. But I'm sure you've been all over the place.
Yeah, man. I'm, not big headed, but how we, came here today was someone that you knew, right? Wanted to, say, hey, man, we should have him on. And soon as I seen the notification come on Instagram, I'm like, all right, bet, within 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? It's no question. Like, so I'm real rooted to the people. You know what I mean? It wasn't when you reached out and asked me, bro, it wasn't. I couldn't say no. I wasn't gonna say no. You know what I mean? Like, bro, in the middle of the week, driving 200 miles. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was like, dude, look, I don't care what time it is. Let's do it. You see what I'm saying? So I had to just, make myself available, because one, you was a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't even gonna, talk about much, but dude, it's been times I see you on social media doing your thing with, how, I think, vegan or something like that?
Back in the day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll be like, bro, your editing skills is just like A1. You see what I'm saying? So to do it on the platform, man, I'm glad to be here. Really, you know what I'm saying, and for you to invite me out, I couldn't say no. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't gonna say no. I wasn't gonna let nothing stop me.
Oh man,
Period.
that means a lot to me, man. Because I mean, I look at you higher than me. I mean, you definitely impacted the world more than I have. Your attributes in your life will be remembered for a long time. I believe so. I mean, you solidified in books. People are gonna be looking at videos later, talking about this is the guy. This is the guy that started some of these plans, some of these goals. He was an advocate for the people. He was there. He helped X amount. I wouldn't like, oh boy, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. That's the
Yeah.
lawyer. And that's huge, man. Because that's why I got into business. One of the reasons why I want to affect people. I want to be able to invest in the people, be an investor, and I need money to do that. And I also wanted to be able to provide jobs because black people we don't have as many black entrepreneurs out there that can provide opportunities. So that as long as you know your why, which you know your why, and that allowed you to go ahead and hone in on this whole thing, man. So like, I really appreciate you, coming out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Spitting game for the people because this information, is going to be important for everybody to know. If you need credit repair, if you need credit info, let me before we get off here, what service do you provide not only to the consumer, but if you do, are you still helping people like that lawyer become like what he does today?
Oh yeah. Man, anybody, right? So I just can't pinpoint it. But yeah, if you're a lawyer, want to get into this type of business, I'll help you out. If you got a credit repair business, want to get into this business, I'll help you out. If you're a consumer needing help, I'll help you out. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of that's the little challenge that I ran into, with Marvin, and because the funnel is designed to specifically only do one thing, and it's so multi-headed on what I do. I just couldn't focus on that one thing or just have that funnel on that one thing. So that was always the confusing thing with me.
I can see that. Yeah. Because typically that's the main thing with funnels, ClickFunnels. It is about having like one product, one service, one thing, and then funneling somebody to buy that. When you really do have a few different, you're really, really a big consultant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, you still are active in litigating for the people. And so, yeah. I mean, I don't know how you'd probably disseminate that at some point, delineate that through different. You got Advanced Credit Repair Doctor website and an Advanced Credit Repair commercial site, or really, I don't know how you do that. But for the most part, I think it's keeping you busy either way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of it's keeping you busy. You just had somebody hit you up. Said they seen him on the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And that's
like
crazy.
so before we started, somebody hit me up like, "Hey man, I seen you on the podcast," and so yeah, man. I mean, I answered the phone. You know what I'm saying? We're past what 8.
Yeah,
8
8 o'clock at night. I'm about to say, yeah.
So dude hit me up. You know what I'm saying? And now, to be honest with you, the phone call went a little bit like it was over some business. I picked up on the conversation. It was just like, is this business? So I don't deal with business issues. I deal with personal. So, say for an example, if I didn't have integrity, I'd have been like, oh yeah, I can help you out. Send me some money. You know what I'm saying? And been in writing a bad review or something. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, bro, like you gotta have integrity. And that's what I put first. And I mean, as you heard live, I was just like, bro, look, I can't help you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to go find a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? And so that's first, man. I mean, rest in peace to my moms. But the first thing that I do, it's like I treat this person as if this person is my mother. So if you got that as a bar, You know what I'm saying? You won't have no problems.
That's real.
So that's the standard that I try to extend to every single body that text, email, call, whatever the case may be.
I'm the same way, man, with business. Like, treat every customer like they're the first time you meet. You meeting them, no matter how the last customers were, and always treat them with respect, kindness,
Oh yeah.
excitement, as if, hey, man, how you doing? Today's time, man, you go into stores, niggas don't even look at you sometimes when you go to the counter. They just,
Yeah.
you come up to the counter, set your stuff down, they looking over here.
Oh yeah.
They ring you up real quick, and they don't even tell you the price. They go back to looking at what they was looking at. Like, man, what happened to just people actually caring about the people that they interact with on a daily basis, whether it be
Yeah.
for business or just interactions, but especially for business, because I really care about people. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I really care, and especially for yours, with credit, every person you touch, you could possibly change their life. It ain't just like I can possibly get you something to eat tonight. It ain't like I could possibly get you a PlayStation game. It's like, no, nigga, I could possibly set you up for the future and for you to really set yourself up for an amazing life.
Oh yeah.
Because credit, well, it fucks so many people up, dude.
Yeah.
It'll fuck your situation up, man. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, man. Well, yeah, man, I appreciate you coming out here. Appreciate you being part of this, man. This was a podcast here at Power 214 Podcast Studios, man. We got Vance the Credit Doctor. Go to his website, VanceCreditRepair.com.
www.vancedotson.com.
Ooh, yeah, VanceDotson.com. Go there, man. Fill it out. Go ahead and get started today and get your life on a better path.
Let's get it.
All right.